Damn, Ingenious made the beat. Yo, welcome to another episode of the Coach Life Podcast Radio. I'm, of course, your host, the Prince of Positivity, Coach Steve. Join with me today. Got another great special one for you today. Got a chance to coach this guy. First and foremost, probably one of the toughest kids I've ever coached. The heart of the football team, former quarterback for St. Joseph High School, Casey Scalise. How we doing, brother?
Thank you, Coach. Yeah, tough. I'll take it. How
Super
you
tough, bro.
doing, man? It's good
I'm
to see you.
It's good to see you too, man. Excited for you on this one. I cannot wait to get into everything Casey related. I remember like it was yesterday, you walking on that field, and I'm seeing this very short, scrawny kid remind me of myself when I started playing football. And I'm like, what position is this kid playing? And then I heard it was quarterback, and I was like, wow, wow. Tore it up on the field. Tore it up on the field.
I try my best. We had the coaches, and you were one of the inspirations of keeping that team together and taking care of us. That was the biggest thing about that football team was making sure we were okay.
Absolutely. 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 Again, it was only a few of us, so we had to make sure that everybody was good.
Yeah.
So that being said, let's take it back to the start of football. Like what got you into football first and foremost? And did was quarterback the first position that we wanted to play?
No. Quarterback only start. I'll get to that part in a second. But I started with the Melrose Park Gales when I was 5 years old. I played a year with them, and then Westchester Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, that was everybody around town played for the Westchester Raiders, and I mean,
Absolutely.
that's where I fell in love with it. I had great teammates, great coaches. Uh, oh, my dad was my coach, and then the Bears obviously were good. Brian Urlacher was my time frame. So watching
Mm-hmm.
Brian Urlacher on TV, I fell in love with the game, and I wanted to play defense just like him. So I was a big defensive guy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Defensive back. I wasn't quite big enough for linebacker, but defensive back was kind of my thing. But I was too starting to realize it was too slow once I was getting older. Getting to St. Joe's, my freshman year, I played that first game. I was running back, kick returner, and defensive back.
Yep.
And then I can't remember. Ryan Ross was one of our. It was I think he was the quarterback, and he went down with an injury. And Coach Heslaw was like, Scalise, think you're the only one that knows how to play quarterback besides him. So that's where that fell into place. And then the rest is history at St. Joe's and me at quarterback.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the most elite quarterbacks we had at Joe's. What was the moment? Did you ever have a moment that you doubted playing quarterback? Was it in that moment? Did you ever have that moment where you doubted it?
I wouldn't say that. I don't think I would ever doubted it because I mean freshman year we ran the wing formation
Yep.
offense. So it was just handing the ball off the whole time. And then my sophomore year, we're the best team in the conference. So now I'm thinking, okay, I can do something with this.
Hmm.
I think that's the way I kind of looked at it.
What was one of the biggest inspirations growing up? I know you said, around the Brian Urlacher time frame. Was there any players that you played with that you can remember that you said, these guys, I want to make sure that, I'm able to be at that level with these guys?
Like playing with them.
Hmm.
Victor Johnson, of course, Michi. I
VJ,
think the
yep.
core
Hmm.
the core we had it was me, Meech, VJ, and then Wes Becton,
Hmm.
who was an animal. That
Yes, it
was,
was.
I mean, that whole team I wanted to give my love to, and I'm going to give most of them their love right now. I mean, Joshua Peoples, my center, Joe Williams, Jervon, Xavier, those core kids that stayed at St. Joe's football. and kept playing St. Joe's football, no matter what was happening each week. Though I wish I could have done more for those kids. I wish I think to myself, like, what if I was a little bit better? Could I have done
Mm.
something for those guys, those 20 kids we had on the team?
I think you did more than what you probably thought you did.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm gonna give you your flowers. Being able to coach someone that had a natural fire, you had a natural fire about yourself. When you were on the field, we knew that you had it covered. Period. Give them the play and let them go work. Period. So when you were out there, what was probably the fun part for you being able to kind of own everything when you were playing at Joe's,
When we got those big plays, because those didn't pop out unless we were handing off the ball to Brandon Johnson,
right?
who's making the big plays most of the time. If I was making those deep throws that would hit every once in a while, that's what kind of like got that fire under me. And then it would just the opposite. If I missed it, you would have to come track me down on that sideline. You were the biggest one to kind of cool me down. Like, dude, it's the first quarter. Let's gather ourselves. Let's figure this out. Because I'm sitting there yelling at Coach Blake, like, why did we do this? And you're like, dude, come here. Let's
Hmm.
let's walk and talk. And I'm like, all right, yeah, all right, I got you, Coach. I got you.
I remember like it was yesterday. When you talk about big plays, there are several big plays that stand out to me that you've made throughout your career. There's one play that always stands out to me, and it's against Elmwood Park. I don't
The
know if you
homecoming
remember
game,
this.
that ball to Meach right on
Yes,
the sideline. That
man.
that was the best ball I ever threw in my life. And the catch he made was tiptoed in that sideline, and we scored right after that, I think, and that was the
Yep.
game.
That
Oh,
was the
I'm
game.
glad
That
you
was the
brought that.
game winning drive. I mean, that was a
Yeah,
19-yard pass that you had. Now on 4th and 7 for that matter.
yeah, yeah. It was a dot, and he made a great because he had a guy on him too.
Yes, you did.
He had a guy on him, and what's funny is I think I remember I've looked at the play before. I've gone back and it's there, and there's a guy wide open, like I think right at the sticks. And I decided I was like, I know Meach has got this ball. Like I'm gonna throw it. It was a dot. Oh man, I love that throw. Yeah, it won us the game.
That was the best, one of the best throws. I think I was going ballistic on the sideline. I think you ended the game. You had over 100 yards. I know that for sure. Um, I know for sure you had two touchdowns, that being one of them.
It was
Again, with three touchdowns that game. Yes,
I
you had
had
three
one to
touchdowns. Yep.
Willie,
Yep.
Yuri, and
And
then
Meach
Meach.
for the game winning. Yep.
Yep.
Killed it on that
Yeah.
field. What was the mindset when you walked off of that field? Because again, as we know, we did not have the best record in the world, and we did have a lot of adversity that we were dealt with. What were your feelings when you had that win coming off of that Elmwood Park win?
Just for the guys, man. It was so we weren't like you said, we weren't the best, but we were 1-0 that week. We got the homecoming dance tomorrow night. These seniors, myself included, we enjoyed this. We made this homecoming something special that we're gonna remember. A lot of these other schools, they have memories for they're going to the playoffs, they're playing, state championships. We got our win that we wanted. Senior year
Hmm.
homecoming. That I know that meant something to the guys, and that's what it meant to me. And just seeing how excited everybody was and happy. That's all that mattered.
You kept calm. You always kept calm when things were going good.
Yeah.
There was times where we had to kind of cap the fire a little bit. What would you say would be one of the biggest things that contributed to that fire that you naturally had?
I think overall, growing up, I've always just been a competitor. I've always wanted to be great. I've always wanted to do my best. I've always wanted to challenge myself. Um, Now that I'm older, I'm like, well, I could have challenged myself a little bit harder. Like, what was I thought? I just things are just gonna get handed to me like that. Like I thought I was working hard, not till I got older.
Mm,
There's so many ways to work harder, and seeing it now is like I said earlier, I was like, I wish I could go back and just you know what there if I worked a little bit harder, if we hit the weight rooms harder, you know.
hmm
It, overall, it was just tough because we still only had 20 kids. It's so hard to have
You're going
a
both
full
ways.
season. Yeah.
You're going
I
both
mean,
ways the entire game.
Victor Johnson, man, and a fullback and middle linebacker. And then he went on to play college and killed in
hmm
college, man.
what was you gonna say is the what was harder for you? Handling the pressure in the pocket or handling frustration when the games didn't necessarily go the way that we needed them to go?
Handling the frustration because you can handle the pocket, you can get out of the pocket. I think that's how I made most of my better throws was out of the pocket because I think that's something I was so used to. I
hmm
think the frustration part is getting hard out. Like I think if I stayed a little bit more cool and collected, um, how could I have been different? Could have changed a play or two, and could my alignment have blocked a little better if I was a little bit better leader in that huddle and not so frustrated? It's some of the things you got to look at.
Yeah. I love the fact that, and throughout your entire career, you always taken a lot of the accountability. It's always looking in the mirror to say, what can I do better? What did I do in this play? Was there ever a moment where you looked at, you looked at the play, you looked at what happened, and you were like, I did everything that I could do in this one, even though it didn't turn out the way that you necessarily wanted it to.
No, I always thought I could have done better. Always, it just I could have threw a tighter spiral. I could have. There's one play I remember. It was against De La Salle. We were at De La Salle my senior year,
hmm
and I rolled out the pocket and I underthrew a wide open Byron Robinson. And I walked to the stands, and my dad is just, you had that. And it's just like,
Yep.
I think that's another person too that's always knew I could be better and saw it in me. But it was just like, it's just one play or one, inch of my effort could have made a difference.
So when we talk about leadership, when we talk about, pushing guys, what was a time that stood out to you where you felt your leadership kind of at its peak, where you took command of something? What was a time that stood out for you? I can name a ton of them that I felt stood out for you, but what was a time for you?
One time I looked is I was a sophomore and we were at Ridgewood and I got to play varsity. My first varsity, I because I played the only two halves for the sophomore game,
Mm-hmm.
and then I came up and played the varsity game, and Rec goes down because he split his hand open, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Scalise, you're in." I'm like, "Whoa!"
Next man up. Next
I'm like,
man
"All
up.
right." All right, so I get in the huddle and I remember calling the play and I remember the guys tap. I was like, all right, let's go. Call the play, threw a slant. I can't remember to who, and it was touchdown. My first pass in my varsity experience was a touchdown. It was coming in and knowing that I can do this, and they trust me.
I was hoping you were gonna bring that up because I was gonna say your first play was, and as I said, I could probably choose a bunch of them, but that's the one that I remember. Your first start at varsity on the varsity team was a touchdown pass.
Mm-hmm.
Like you immediately had success stepping onto the varsity field
Yeah.
immediately. So that we don't always have those particular moments, right? We
No.
typically don't have those moments all the time. So you having that moment, I thought was extremely big for you because this showed immediately that this kid can play. This kid can really play, and this kid can rally people around him. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I saw from the sideline is how well you were able to rally the troops around you when you were on fire, you were able to rally. When you were
Yeah.
off, when this got in the way,
Everybody, yeah.
when that,
That's when you would pull me aside. We walked on that sideline. We kind of do that Deion Sanders and his
yep,
son. But
yep.
we'd be doing that during the game, and you'd be doing that to
Ex-
calm me down.
just change the frequency. That's all. We just kind of just
Yeah,
reposition you a little bit. That's
yeah.
all. So let's go back to finishing up. What do you most remember about finishing up high school?
I figured that I was gonna miss it. I because I had a football scholarship to go to Robert Morris.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that ended up not working out. But I think the biggest thing was like, what's gonna be different from here? Because I know the next level is gonna be different. We have 20 kids on this team. We won 3 or 4 games in the last 3 years. So my expectations are going to be a little off.
Right.
How am I going to handle it?
Post high school, again, I know you considered, putting college off to the side. And I know I remember I think it was the last game or the game before last. Know that you had an interview with the Sun Times and you had told them that you wanted to go into the Marines.
Yeah.
Where did we go after we got out of high school? I know what
Yeah.
you're
So
doing right now, but
yeah. So I went to Robert Morris, didn't work out. And then I did a little college, and I'm like, "God, this school stuff ain't for me anymore. And then I was a security guard. I was like, I really got to do something with my life. So I rolled back to that article. I didn't join the Marines, but I joined the Air Force. I was a firefighter in the Air Force.
absolutely, absolutely. And I know mom was in the service, right?
No, she was a fire chief over in Broadview. She is retired now.
Nice, nice,
Yeah,
nice, nice.
yeah.
So making the transition to the Air Force, what was obviously things are very different and very, very different. So how did you feel like your upbringing kind of helped you transition into the Air Force?
I mean, you would think it was a lot different, but going through, you know, not my parents were very had me very disciplined. And then going through St. Joe's and the adversity I went through with football at Joe's, and then the diversity, you know, going in the Air Force, I I was ready. I was also 21, so I was kind of that leader again because I was the older kid. A lot of these kids are 18, so they
Hmm.
had counted on me in the beginning when I was going through basic training and stuff. But I think Joe's taught me lot of life lessons, that had me ready for when I got out in the real world.
That's one of the things I loved about, and I talked to Coach Bill about this in his pod that we did. St. Joe's was special because it made you grow up very quickly. If it wasn't the school, it was definitely the coaches. It's
Yeah,
both of them obviously are going to get you ready for the next phases of your life. I always felt like you never could get away from getting coached because you were
yeah.
getting it in the classroom and you were getting it on the field consistently. What's one of the coaches that stands out? Again, you can't say me, but what's one of the other coaches that stands out to you that definitely made a very impactful moment in your life?
Well, so we'll go two coaches. We'll go. So my freshman sophomore year was Coach Gill. I mean, that dude just cared for me. He saw it in me.
Legend,
He
man.
he he knew for St. Joe's legend. First of all, like for a guy like him, and he just counted on me. He knew the talent I had, and he knew how great I was, and believed I could be even better. And he just cared. Cared about me. I ran into him like twice, and seeing him is just like puts a huge smile on my face.
Hmm.
And he was awesome. I got all the respect in the world for Coach Gill, and then of course Coach Griff. Coach Griff was one of those guys that was like about life lessons. The biggest thing I reconcile with Coach Griff is the he never got angry at you.
No.
He was the disappointed dad, but he knew the team. He knew that these guys were coming out here. These players, us, were coming out here every week after we just lost 76 to nothing to Mount Carmel. Every single person that was out there is still out here this week. He'd be upset and he'd try to, all right, we're 0-0 this week. Let's restart. We're building the blocks. We're building the blocks. And you saw those blocks. I with the team 2, 3 years after us, went to the playoffs. And I that's a lot to do with Coach Griff. He
Hmm.
like he always said, we're building those bricks for the house. Oh, hold on. I gotta send that to voicemail.
No worries.
But yeah, we Coach Griff, and my dad runs into him a lot now too, and he's like, "Oh, look who I'm seeing," and it makes me so happy. And I hope to see him soon because he meant so much. He cared about me. He knew what I was going through as that quarterback of that team, and he was
Hmm.
just, "I got you. We're gonna be okay. You need to do better." But I'm not. I don't think he ever yelled. I don't think he ever yelled. But
I
you
don't
knew
think
if he was upset.
yes, you did know if he was upset, but I can say I don't think I've ever seen him yell. I don't think I've ever seen him like really blow his stack. Like I've seen him, yeah, like God dang it, we should have did this, right? But I've never seen him take it out on the players. Like I've never seen him take it out on the players. He
Never.
always knew how to handle, keep himself composed, like 100% of the time.
Yep. Yeah, I remember one drill. It was that single sled we had, and I went to go do it. And I think I was just I don't know if I was just tired or something. I long day at school. I go to hit it and I barely moved. And Coach Griff he's like, really? I was like, oh man. I got back to the end of the
So
line. I was
right.
like, I better move this thing about 10 yards on my next time
Exactly.
up.
What's one of
Yeah,
the if you can go back in time, what's one of the things that you would tell your younger self? If you can go back to your freshman year, what would you tell yourself
back to
with
my
everything you
stick
learned now?
play football. That's it. Stick to football and perfect it. Because I didn't fall in love. No matter how bad we were, I was still in love with football. I still wanted to play football. We were good in baseball, but I just didn't.
Hmm.
I wasn't loving it. I just didn't have the love for baseball that I had for football. And I wish because during the off seasons, I played basketball, I played baseball, so I didn't give that commitment to the team that deserved that because I was busy playing other sports. Which you know, if I think if I would have stuck to football and I mean I would have worked like thrown around with Meach a little bit more and Aaron Bell. We could have figured something out. Hit the gym a little bit more.
Hmm.
I think we really had something.
I agree. Now here's the other piece of this. Like I got a chance to watch you play baseball, and a winning pitcher you were.
Yeah,
I believe you were 18-2, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't. Like I said, I didn't baseball. I give up on.
Exactly. And for you to have that kind of success with baseball and
Mm-hmm.
still have that gravitation toward football, like that definitely meant something. That's one of the reasons I think as coaches, we wanted to make sure that we poured into you guys as much as possible because we knew at Joe's like you guys can go play anywhere. Like you can play whatever sport you want to play. You don't have to be here on the football field getting, beat up every week, right? Like you don't have to be here. But it says something about the toughness and the grit that you guys had. And again, you being a big portion of that leadership of making sure that everybody rallied around it. We saw it consistently. So it's almost like again, it's I can go through a Rolodex of times where I saw you and I was like, he just got it. He just got it. He understands it. He gets it. He understands it. He knows how to get other people around him to get it as well. There was a time, and I'll do a quick one, a quick story. There was a DB drill that we were doing. And I remember this like it was yesterday because I had a conversation with Griff, and he was like, I pretty much we're gonna have you play quarterback the whole time. You weren't gonna see the other side of the field.
Hmm.
So we thought, right? So we thought. I'm like, I'll use him as a safety. Like I'll put him in safety. I want him to be a ball hawk. He knows the plays. He knows the formations. Let him sit back there and just let him go nuts. And I think we put you on scout team, and you tore us up on scout team. Tore us up on scout team. Having that mind, that defensive mind, is that one of the reasons why you felt like your play at quarterback made it a little bit easier for you to see the field the way that you did?
Yeah, I would think so. And you kind of read it as like everybody on defense wants to be aggressive. They want the ball just as much as the team on offense wants to move the ball. So they're going to find the ball. How quickly are we going to make that adjustment before they figure it out? Is what the way you got to look at it, really. Which how quickly are you going to make your move before they counter it?
Facts, facts. When having again playing with everybody, one of the things that again typically comes up is keeping everybody in that positive mindset, keeping everybody moving in that same direction. We had obviously a lot of ups and downs, a lot of ups and downs. I don't know, and from your perspective, and I'm from the guys that you played with and gone back to see some of the guys or some of the previous players that you played with prior to the school closing, which we'll get into shortly. What do you think is one of the biggest differences from the players that you played with and the players that you see today?
Dude, I don't know what they're putting in the food. These we were at a over the summer we were at a high school parade or a parade in the for like the holidays and stuff like that, and they had one of the
Hmm.
football teams walking by, and I'm like, these kids look like they're in college. But besides that, I think people are it's a lot quicker. The game's getting quicker and quicker, and the talent is just going. I think there's just so much talent that it's going to be hard to keep up with. Just seeing some like my son's team right now, they're practicing out here, and there's a 6-year-old that compared to my son who's never played before. This kid played 1 year of flag football, and he looks like he's been playing football for 5 years. And I think the talent of some of these kids is moving a lot. There's so much more to see now. And there's so many coaches that want to help and give their way of what is to expect now.
Hmm. Showing them that expectation so that they understand
Yeah.
what they need to do to be successful, right?
Yep.
A lot of that stuff that we talked about was the foundation at Joe's. What are some of those things that St. Joe's has kind of given you that you've taken and used outside of the sports realm?
Everybody comes from you don't know where people come from. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know what's going on back home. You don't know who this you don't know how smart that person is. Don't judge anybody until you get to know them. We are all coming from different lifestyles. We're all human beings. We all have a goal in life and that's to be happy. Like everybody's different. Nobody is the same. Everybody's got their different views and just be happy. Everybody is Joe's just taught me so much of don't judge that person. That person,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what they're coming from. You don't know what they're dealing with. Just just try to be happy.
So those lessons, again, I think that's one of that's been a core foundation at St. Joe's. Finding out that the school closed, how'd you take that chip? Because I've talked to a lot of former Joe's players and former coaches and teachers, and everybody has their own feeling about it. How did you take it?
I wasn't happy. I felt like, first of all, I felt like Joe's was a landmark in good old Westchester. You know, that it just meant a lot to me. That's where I spent 4 years. That would turn me into the person I am. That built me who I was. And what's funny is I went to the Monday night Bears game against the Vikings, and I
Hmm.
ran into a guy that played for Joe's. I forgot his name. I It's gonna kill me that I forgot his name. And then I went to the game last Sunday, and the two guys sitting next to me, they're like, "Yeah, we graduated from St. Joe's in '88." And they were like, "Oh," I was like, "I went to Joe's in '14." And I think that's what the people that went to Joe's, that's what they still get.
Hmm.
If you find when you see somebody that went to St. Joe's, yeah, you got a connection there. You may have never met this man, but you're like, "Oh, you went to Joe's. I went to Joe's." We
Hmm.
get it. We get it. We see what we went through.
So you have a different understanding. It's like it's an unwritten brotherhood that you have.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
When you look back at your time at Joe's, from a classroom standpoint, as a student, as a player, what's one of the proudest moments that you remember?
I mean, I think winning having the entire alumni my sophomore year and winning that conference championship at home, I think that there nothing's gonna touch that. That's got to be it.
Still got that shirt.
So do I.
Still got
I got that. I still got my all my St. Joe's football stuff.
took your jersey. That's what happened to our jersey.
I did not get the jersey. I beat
Okay.
myself up for that. Well, because our jerseys were only 2 years old, so I didn't want to do that yet.
I feel you. I feel you. That's the one I would have taken.
Yeah,
That's,
I mean,
that's
at
that's
this
definitely
point
one I would
now,
have
it's
taken.
like, yeah,
That's definitely one that I would have taken.
yeah.
So if you had to go back, if we had obviously, would we if we can go back into time right now and choose a different career, what would be that career path that we would choose right now? Because I know fireman will obviously is following mom's footsteps is that's kind of hard to top. But what would
Well,
be the second underneath that?
I didn't even want to be joining the Air Force. I didn't even want to be a firefighter. They gave me a list of jobs that I qualified for. Didn't qualify for many because you got to take a test and me and test. Um, uh, I qualified for 4 jobs, so I had to put them in order how I want them. And the two that I wanted were on there. It was HVAC and electrician. And then I was like, oh, I'll put firefighter on there just to maybe I'll get that. It's on there. But I honestly, I think I come from blue collar. I've seen blue collar. I think that's kind of just what I wanted to do was HVAC or electrical and just hard work, earn a paycheck, make some money because once you get to join a union with those boys, that's when the money starts coming in.
You're good, right? You're
Yeah.
good.
So I mean, I think that was the not dream job, but that was like something I always wanted to do. I think dream job would be coaching. I don't know. I think not even as a I think I'd be a good quarterback coach. I think I would. I don't know if I could run an offense, but I think I can be someone like you who can talk to the quarterback and like, hey, this is what we're seeing. Let's relax ourselves. Kind of even just a mentor. You know,
I'd love to see you back on the field. Love to see you back coaching on the
eventually.
field. We're gonna get that day one day.
One day, maybe when my son gets old enough, maybe when he's because dude, I'm out here watching his games. I'm sitting there itching. I can't stand still. I'm like, oh, why is he doing that? I was like,
Like,
come on, go make that. I think I was just, my wife has to kind of reel me back a little bit. She's like, you were 5 once too, and I don't think you were the superstar. So you better watch it. I was pretty good. She's like, relax. This is his first time, and that's something I got to do. I got to reel back a little bit because but he's getting better each week, which makes me so happy. There's steps that he's building those bricks to build his home, and he's
mm-hmm.
getting better each week. And I gotta kind of, I'd love to coach him. I think it's kind of good that I'm staying back a little bit right now. But it's good to. I think one day I'll get out there.
Take it from experience. When you try to overcoach your kid, you can make them not want to play.
Yeah.
And it's weird because my son's in he's doing karate right now. I did mixed martial arts for
Hmm.
16 years. So yes, yes, you want to do karate? Yes, let's do it. When I see him out there and I see little things, I'm like, you should probably shut up. Shut up, Steve.
Yeah.
Shut up. Let the sensei take care of it. There's going to come a time where Coach Casey is going to want to get out there and make his presence known. What are some of the
Yeah.
things you feel like you're going to be able to tell your son today about his play that old Casey probably would not have been able to do?
I think the biggest thing is I just got to focus on the positive reinforcement. I'm big on oh, this is what you're doing wrong. Stop doing that wrong. And I
Hmm.
think that's what I focused on myself too. That's what I was doing. I was constantly getting negative with myself. I think it's just got to be positive. Hey, you went up and he's 5 years old. So he's playing tackle football at 5. I was like, hey, you went up and put your hands on that guy. Great job. You're making contact. That's what I need to see. Not, oh, you gotta throw him over, then go after the ball.
Right. Like, of
It's
course, we know that that's what we should be doing, but
yeah. I think the old me kind of just like, let's not focus on the negative, and we got to do the positive reinforcement. And that's kind of what my wife's kind of teaching me now, and I'm trying to work on it a little bit. And I just that competitiveness is just stirring inside me.
still there. Still there.
Yep.
So let's have a little bit of fun before
Okay.
we're gonna throw some rapid fire questions at
All
you.
right. Let's do
Okay.
this.
First off, let's talk about this stash real quick. Where did
It
this
comes with
brilliant stash come from,
it
bro?
comes with the job. As a firefighter, you gotta have it. You gotta have
So like,
it.
gotta have, put on the fire gear, you got your tank, you got your oxygen mask, stash gotta come with it.
What I heard the reason firefighters have stash is because before oxygen tanks, it'd be their filter. That's what I heard.
There you go. So that's
Yeah.
why you have the very large stash. I was gonna say, man, I'm hoping it had everything to do with something else and not a particular quarterback that I'm not very fond of. But I digress. I
Okay.
digress. So rapid fire time. Let's throw some rapid fire questions at you. Best teammate nickname that you have ever heard at St. Joe's.
A Beezy.
A Beasy.
A
Yes.
Beezy. Because
Shout
he,
out
he he
AB.
wore it. You knew that guy was if someone said, "Hey, A Beezy," and without him turning around, you knew that was him right there.
You knew it. Favorite pregame meal.
I think it would be the Thursday night pastas. If we were
Oh,
playing that Friday, those Thursday night pastas before, yeah, that was it. Or I think Miss Genova was big with that.
yes.
Yeah,
Shout out Miss Genova, Mr. Genova. They
yeah,
helped out a lot, a
yeah. I mean, because
ton.
they had two boys do that.
Yes, they did. Yes, they
Yeah.
did. Post game meal.
Post game meal. I don't. I
We didn't
think I was
share a lot of these, obviously.
no, no. I don't think. Honestly, think whatever was in the freezer next to the ice pack. I can see that after I'm grabbing that. I
Absolutely.
I think not because a few of the times I would go out, me and Victor Johnson and a couple of the other guys, we'd go to the pizza place in Lagrange, to Nico's. So
Yes.
that would pizza. I think pizza was a good after game move because they were open
Pro
pretty late too.
mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Hardest workout.
I do. I remember one. There was one practice. Now, are we talking like workout during a practice? Like
Any workout you can think of. What
I
was the
we
hardest
were
workout you had?
we were doing the 100-yard sprints for forever, just forever, and I just couldn't. I remember that we were just back and forth, goalpost to goalpost. We weren't even using that field anymore, but we
Was
just
Bill
knew.
running it? Was Bill running that one?
No, that was Griff. I think Griff.
Those-
That was the Yeah, Griff was mad. He was a little past the
It was a one time.
he was a little past the disappointed dad that time, and we're gonna run
Football two-a-days or baseball conditioning?
football 2 days because it just built that brotherhood. It built that brotherhood. It built that camaraderie. You know, drinking out of the
The
PVC
hose
pipe, the PVC pipe with the spraying the
with the
water in the different
drills in it.
directions. Yeah, yeah, no, I still smell that locker room. You come
Yes.
and that St. Joe's locker room in that basement had a distinct smell to it.
I don't think anyone that went to St. Joe's can get rid of that smell. Like, I
No,
think
no.
if you randomly went outside and you smelled that, you'd be like, St. Joe's locker room. Like, I think you would know immediately.
Yeah, because the amount of times that place flooded, the
Yes,
blood, sweat, and tears of 70 years connecting.
exactly.
Yeah.
Toughest defense you faced in high school.
So I would say Mount Carmel, but they took out their team. I think the hardest hitting in the team that took it to me every single game was Leo one year because they were the same. They had 25 kids and they had some dogs on their team. Man, they were just
Mhm.
they played like there was no tomorrow, and they were just hitting. They didn't
They
care.
were. They a lot of those guys were they look like NFL or collegiate linemen. Like a lot
Yeah,
of those guys were like
yeah,
300 pounds already. So
yeah.
they're big
Leo and
guys.
Hales Franciscan always, with them even being in the same division as us, they wanted to make a statement when they played us. That was their chance we were everybody's homecoming, as I like to say.
Yeah, true enough. True enough. True enough. Advice that you would give I would say a quarterback that would be playing at St. Joe's, but if St. Joe's was still around and you had some advice that you can give to a rookie quarterback, what would be that advice you'd give him?
Just fall in love with the game. Once you fall in love with the game, everything else comes with it. If you're not loving the game and you don't love where you're at, that's just going to deteriorate everything else and the people around you. I think that's kind of why we kept the guys that we kept because we had guys like Michi and Jervon and as goofy as he was, Xavier.
Hmm.
He's still showing up, and VJ, of course. We all loved the game. Like no matter how bad we got beat that week, we came back and we started stretching and we talked about what we went through, and but we loved the game. We wanted to be out there.
You play with a lot of passion, and what would be a player that you say this is the player that you definitely didn't want to disappoint?
I think it was my Michi, Wes, and VJ, the captains. I never put myself as a captain because I knew I had to be a leader whether I had the label or not. Um, but those three as captains, they were captains for 2 years, I think, and they they cared about St. Joe's. They cared about this team. You know, it was that core. It wasn't just one person that I didn't want to like. I didn't want to all of St. Joe's.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're tired. They were tired of seeing everything. They were tired of seeing us struggle, but alumni still showed up. The school still showed up to the games. It was hard disappointing them every week, but they still believed in us.
They stuck it out, man. They definitely
Yeah,
stuck it out. And again, it takes a special type of individual to come in week after week and put in the work. And that's something that I consistently saw you do amongst a bunch of other players at Joe's. But I saw this consistently from you. You were a leader, you were a competitor, you were someone that showed that size does not matter. That doesn't define the heart of the person. You had one of the biggest hearts on that team, hands down, from
I
start to
appreciate
finish.
that.
From start to finish. I appreciate you sharing your journey with me, even though I've walked this journey with you a little bit.
So,
But I appreciate you jumping on the pod and having this conversation. How I'm extremely blessed to have this conversation with you because it's very rare. I get a chance to see you guys here and there, but I get obviously Facebook. I see you guys on Facebook here and there and
yep,
Instagram and everything else, but getting a chance to like really talk to you guys again and have these conversations with you and seeing you guys success and hearing that the success came from some of the it may have been one small thing that I helped instill in you or that a coach, that Coach Griff or Coach Gill or Coach Bill has helped instill in you. It is so gratifying to hear that those little nuggets carried on and got you to, where you need to be today.
exactly. No, I appreciate you. You meant a lot to me. You were big my sophomore or my junior and senior year. You were that kind of yin to my yang. For a coach to calm me down, and I can't thank you coaches enough for the life lessons that you taught. You, Coach Griff, Coach Gill. Can't thank you guys enough.
Again, man, you embodied what coach life is all about because you lived it on and off the field. I cannot thank you enough, Casey. I hope this ain't the last time that we have you on the pod. We got to have you back. Having a reunion pod. We probably need to get
Maybe a
all the
little
guys
group
on
thing.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I like that.
Yeah, we get a little reunion pod going right now. We'll probably have to
Yes,
do that
sir.
one outside with everybody so we can actually throw the ball
We'll
around a
get
little bit.
together. Let's run it. We'll figure
Coach,
it out.
coach will still be wearing his cleats. I just don't know how much running I'm gonna be doing.
I'm not running. My back is hurting too much from this firefighting stuff.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. How can anybody get
Yeah.
in touch with you? They want to get in touch with you, man.
Facebook. Hit me up on
Facebook?
Facebook. Facebook,
Hit you up on
I'm
Facebook.
available. Yep.
Awesome, awesome. Again, Case, I cannot thank you enough for jumping on this
Yes,
pod.
sir.
Thank you so much. Again, if you like what you heard, smack that like and subscribe button if you want to hear more from your Coach Life fam. Definitely appreciate all of the extra subscribers that we got. So keep sharing that pod, keep getting that pod out there. Again, we want to push as much of this positivity as possible. Again, if you like what you heard, smack that like and subscribe button. Until the next time, family, stay positive, my friends.